Hello, how you doing? I just wanted to explain to you today how the Most High, Yahuwah, answers your prayers. Okay? So, when we go to, Proverbs 28 and 28 verse 9, it talks about those that turn a deaf ear to the Torah, even their prayers are an abomination to them. So, if I were you, I would, get into the Torah because that's a way of showing that you love the Most High, that you're obeying Him. In John 15, verse 7, it talks about if you're in me and my words are in you and you obey, you ask what you will and it will be given to you. Okay? But, in James 4, it talks about you have not because you ask not, because when you ask to consume it upon your lust. Okay? So when you ask, this is not about you. This is about, like it says in Deuteronomy 8:18, talks about that He's empowered you to prosper so He can establish His end-time covenant here on the earth. So that's our motive when we ask. We're establishing His end-time covenant here on the earth, pretty much doing the Great Commission. And so what I wanted to do was give a little testimony on, I can give hundreds of testimonies, but one specific testimony I'll give on answering a prayer. I opened up this bookstore once, and I had no money. I was just doing it on faith, and I'd always go and pray for like 7 to 10 o'clock before it opened, and just pray and be a vessel. And I needed a sign, like a sign that's set up there. So nobody really knew where I was at because it was a store that I was building up and I didn't have a sign. So that morning I was praying for a sign, Father, just provide the money so that I can get a sign here. Because what happened is I made my own homemade sign and put it on the road, and that was kind of illegal to do that. You get like a ticket. So I had to, comply with the rules and things. And so I'm praying and I'm believing Yah for a sign, and lo and behold, that same morning, a man walked into the door. He pulls out a checkbook and he starts writing a check. And I asked him, what are you doing? And he says, well, I was driving down the road here, and the Father showed me that there was a man in here praying and he needed money for a sign. So he explained this to me, and I was just kind of blown away and floored. And he pulled out his check and wrote the amount. I didn't tell him how much it was, but he wrote exactly in the checkbook exactly what the sign would cost. So, because I already had the sign, how much it would cost, and it was exactly the same amount. So I called and had a sign put up that week. So that's an answer to prayer. Now, it wasn't consuming upon my lust. It was because I was trying to, be empowered to prosper so I can be a vessel and help people. And there's other stories I can tell like that. Well, here's another example. Is this particular store that I had open, they did a write-up on me in the newspaper, and this woman who claims that she never read a newspaper was led by the Ruach HaKodesh to buy a newspaper that day, and she opened up and she read about me, and that's how she found out about me. And she came to my store, and obviously I had no money, this is zero, no job, no nothing, just, I'm pretty much doing this by faith. She comes in and has like Snapple and goodies and cookies and money. She just gave me money, and so that it was like a way of the Most High prospering me so that I can establish His end-time covenant and be a vessel of honor and be used, because obviously it takes money, right? So I just wanted you to be encouraged today that the Most High will answer your prayer. I could do a series on how to pray, what to pray for, so on and so forth. I can give 100 more testimonies on answers to prayers. But I just pray that you be encouraged. Father, I just pray that the eyes of their understanding would be enlightened, that they will know the hope of their calling and the riches of the glory of the inheritance in the saints in the Most High, and what is the exceeding greatness of your power to them that believe. I just pray in the mighty name that you receive your prayers. I add my faith to yours. I add my prayers to yours, so that the Most High can grant the answers to your prayers in the mighty, mighty name. Hallelujah.